I'd like to talk about shortcuts. Now, this is something I've noticed through the various years that I've taught guitar and bass, is so many people want to try and take shortcuts to get from where they are to where they want to be. And I'm telling you, shortcuts just don't work. Shortcuts are going to make things take longer to get down, because when you try and skip a lot of the fundamentals that are part of learning your instrument, you're not building a solid foundation, and it's going to make things so much more difficult when you get to harder things in order to be able to play, because you're not developing stuff like tapping your foot when you play, how to feel and count out certain rhythms, how to understand why scales go along with chords, and so on. Now, I'm not saying you have to do all these things in order to be a really good musician. You could never study any fundamentals and somehow be a really gifted individual and just be able to make fantastic music without any background whatsoever. And it happens, but it's extremely rare. There's a very good chance that you do not have that ability. I certainly don't have that ability. I had to work my butt off to get where I am as far as how fast and accurate and how much knowledge and theory and whatnot that I do have. So this is how I put it to one student. Let's say you've got 100 steps that you need to take in order to get from your beginning point to where you want to be. And I'm kind of, these numbers aren't really any accurate thing. It's just an example, just to get a point across. So let's say 100 steps to get to where you want to go. But right now, a lot of people, they see like 3 things that are important to get there. So what's going to happen is, a lot of people will try and just do those 3 steps. They're like, oh, I'm just going to focus on this, this, and this because that's what sounds cool to me, and forget all the rest of it. So what happens is, the person who actually takes the time to do the 100 steps, let's say, they're probably going to get to where they want to be in a month. The person taking the 3 steps, well, it's going to take them a year to get there. And, of course, I guess these are kind of exaggerating on the time here, but basically, if you go through the steps one by one, you do the baby steps to learn everything that you need to, so you have a solid foundation for everything, you're going to progress way faster than if you take all these other things out. Another way to look at it is this. Let's say you want to build a house. And learning how to build a house is like learning how to play an instrument. So what happens is, with a lot of people who want to take the shortcuts, they see the outside of the house, and they see the rooms in the house, and so they basically just see the outside of it. And even the rooms, they just see what it looks like. So when they go to learn the instrument, they hear the fancy things and they want to just learn that and forget everything else. So if you go to that approach with building a house, learning how to build a house, like you just have the outside and then you put the rooms in there, but there's no electrical wiring, there's no plumbing, there's no insulation, none of that stuff is there because you skipped learning how to build a solid foundation. So learning how to play an instrument, it is going to make life for you so much easier if you just learn the fundamentals, if you learn the basics. And there's so many ways that you can go about doing that. Some people ask, well, can't you learn that stuff through learning songs too? And yes, you can, but a word of caution on that is, what most of the time what happens is people pick songs that are way too difficult for them. And then they're stuck trying to learn the same riff for months because they never took the time to build up to it. And, that's what happens. If you don't take the time to build up to it, what you end up focusing on the thing that sounds really cool to you, but it's going to take so much longer for you to actually nail that riff or that whole song that you want to do because you decided to skip everything else. So hopefully, this will help you understand why it is important to do a lot of the basics, a lot of the fundamentals, because it's all tied in together to get you to where you want to be, to help you play the songs that you want to play, to help you write the songs that you want to write. So when your guitar teacher is trying to say, why you should do these things, learn how to tap your foot, learn how to, understand rhythm and stuff like that, it's not because we're trying to torture you. We're not trying to make you miserable. We're doing it because you said to us you wanted to learn something specific. These are the steps to get there. So hopefully that helps and gives you a better understanding as to why at least I give a lot of the stuff that I do. I can't speak for every teacher, but I give you the material that I do because I do care about how you learn, and I want you to learn as fast as possible. I do. So if you have any questions about this or anything at all, please send me an email and let me know.